Hi everyone, today is a really busy day because today we are going to pollard our eucalyptus hedge and we're also pruning the 7 Cursus ilex around our patio area. These are Holm oaks that we're trying to shape into an umbrella shape, and we got them as really young plants and we're just training them and shaping them each year. I've made loads of videos about pruning eucalyptus, how to coppice it, how to pollard it, how long it takes to grow back, and so I'll link the most important ones below in the description if you want to take a look at those, but I will go through it with you today. If you're new to my channel, my name's Annette, and Richard, my husband, and I garden here in South Buckinghamshire in the UK, which is equivalent to a zone 8B/9A. We get down to about -5, and we have a lovely walled garden here. And this channel is all about bringing you along, letting you see what we're doing as we garden here in our garden. So we're going to start with the eucalyptus hedge behind me, and we're going to bring it down quite considerably, and I'll show you how we pollard it and how we determine where we're going to cut it and which stems we choose to cut in order to turn it into a hedge. So this is the eucalyptus hedge here, and it has grown considerably in just 1 year. Last year we cut it down to about here. And so all of that is new growth from last year. And so if you want to contain your eucalyptus tree or hedge and keep it to a certain size, you really do need to cut it back. The most important thing I want to bring to your attention if you're living here in the UK is if you want to cut your eucalyptus hedge or tree at all, other than for flower farmers. So if you're a flower farmer, it's different. But if you've got eucalyptus in your home garden and you want to cut it or shape it or prune it, please wait until after March the 18th, because here in the UK, March the 18th is National Eucalyptus Day, and that means it is safe for us to cut it back. In fact, it's the perfect time. March the 18th was like Wednesday this last week gone, so we've just gone past it, so now is the time to do it, and it's just registered in my brain, it's there, and I never forget that this is the time that we need to do eucalyptus pruning. So we've got 4 eucalyptus trees here, or bushes. They started off really small, they sort of came up to about here, and you can see where in the past we've cut it back. It's quite clear where we've made our cuts, and as you make a cut, another branch will grow. And if you do want to coppice or pollard your eucalyptus, you do need to make sure that it's, you know, a significant girth. It's not going to work if you're just taking something that's maybe only 1 inch in diameter. If you want to pollard it, you need to have something substantial. So this one over here, we can see also where we coppiced it 1 year. And this one over here, you can see clearly where we took out 1 branch right at the bottom, 1 whole stem when we coppiced that one. This one here, I think has died. So we're probably going to dig that out. I can't see any new growth on it, and we left it like that last year. So this one is gone, and this one over here is still very spindly, so we don't pollard this one at all at the moment. We're just waiting for these trunks to thicken up. So last year we made a cut here, and we made a cut here, and you can see how if the branch is quite thin, it doesn't regrow, whereas if the branch is chunky, it will regrow. So this is another spot where we cut back last year. So we can see that it has formed new branches. The smaller branches, when we cut them back, they don't really do anything. They're just they're too thin in order to reshoot, so the tree reshoots from somewhere else. So it is better to make sure it's a proper nice thickness, bigger than 1 inch. So I think we're just going to get started. I am going to rope Richard in. He's very handy for this particular job, and I think we're just going to pollard them back to the same height that we did last year. So that's the eucalyptus hedge done. We've cut it down to just over 6 foot actually, a bit taller than Richard. This sort of forms like a nice wall around our patio and it makes the seating area feel really cosy, which is why I love it so much. And it's just a really beautiful colour, but it really does need to be kept in check because it is so vigorous. I am filming this the following day. It's cooled down considerably and the sun is hiding behind a mass of clouds. And I spent the night worrying about the height that we cut the eucalyptus hedge to. Now, the reason that I was wide awake all night worrying about it is because where we cut it down to, that's where most of the shoots are going to sprout from. So the bulk of the foliage is going to be above this height where we've cut it down to, and I think we should have brought it down lower so that the bulk of the foliage is kind of where you can see it now, maybe even a bit below that. So I think that we need to chop these bushes down much lower, maybe to about 4 foot, 4.5 foot, because otherwise we're just going to have a massive foliage up here like we did last year and less down here. It's where you cut it invigorates really the top, and if we want to invigorate the rest of this shrub, then we need to cut it lower so that it sprouts from there, but it also will sprout from the trunks of the trees, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to rope Richard in again because we need to get a saw to these thicker branches, and I'm going to be brave and cut it down lower. And the reason I'm fussing about it, I suppose, is because we're having this wedding celebration in the garden this year, and this is kind of an important spot actually as far as our patio goes. It's raining again. So I started filming this 5 minutes ago and ran inside because it was raining, and now it's just started again. It stopped raining for a minute, so I'm back out here and we are going to tackle these shrubs. Now, the reason also that I really want to get it done despite the rain and the weather today is because if you watch some of my previous videos about eucalyptus pruning, when we pollard them, it does take a while for them to kick back into action, but when they do, they really do start shooting with vigour, but they'll look like bare trunks for a fair amount of time, and I've kind of got April, May, June, I've got 3.5 months to get these back to looking like some form of hedge. So I want to get them done today so that they have the chance to get cracking. So this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to turn the camera on and show you how we're cutting them down, and then I'll show you what they look like afterwards, and it probably will be quite shocking because they'll look quite bare. I did say that it was going to be pretty shocking, and it always does take me by surprise how bare it is when we do this. If you're worried about this, please do look at previous videos, because I have a whole eucalyptus playlist, and in it I show, from the first time that we pollarded everything, how the new little shoots formed and how long it took for them to form. And so I filmed that whole process. I'm going to film it again because I think it's really fascinating how we go from very bare stumps like this to what actually becomes a really beautiful hedge in a matter of months. It does take months. It's not going to be overnight. It's not like sowing seeds, unfortunately, but this is going to enable me to sleep at night because I think the hedge is now going to be at the right height, and it's going to be lovely and bushy and exactly how we want it to be. Now that we've done this, we're going to move on to the video that I filmed yesterday where we're pruning the Cursus ilex, the Holm oaks, and that's a really fun job. So around the patio, we've got, on the north side of the patio, we've got 3 Cursus ilex, and on the south side we've got 3, and then we have one more just over here on the edge of the patio. So what we're going to do is try and shape these. Some of them are scruffier than others. This one seems to have kept its shape a bit, and there are others, especially on the south side, I'll show you when we do those, they are a little bit scruffier. But what I was trying to do was make like an umbrella shape, so have a flat bottom and a curved top. And that's what I was going for, but they seem to be sort of more round at the moment, and I'm not against that. I just wanted something a little bit different, and I felt like the umbrella shape would make them stand out a bit. I quite like the idea of that. Anyway, what we're literally going to do is I'm going to go around with my shears and snip the tops off, the ends off, to shape it, and then I'm going to get Richard to go up the ladder. I'm not fond of heights. He can go up the ladder and just shape the top, and I'll try and direct him, because when you're very close to it, it's hard to see what you're doing. But this one behind us here is just a really rubbish shape, and I'm not sure whether we're going to keep it, because we've lost the equal and opposite one on the other side. We lost it in a storm a few years ago. It just snapped in half, which was awful, but I think the eucalyptus hedge might be taking a lot of the water, which is why this one is struggling. It was a dodgy shape to start off with, and it just hasn't grown very much. The trunk hasn't got much thicker. It does have irrigation tubing around it, but we don't turn it on very often unless we're in drought or something. So I think that might be why it's struggling, and maybe we'll just take it out and just have the eucalyptus hedge there and not the tree. I'm going to give it another year though and see how we do. These are the trees on the south side of the patio. This one here is really bushy. This one here is tall and skinny with kind of gaps in the middle. And this one over here is flushing out really nicely actually. But we're going to do exactly the same with these trees over here, but we will have to bring this one down a bit. It's just way too tall. Don't know why the leader just, even though we cut it back, it keeps on putting on growth spurts. So the leader on this one has become so much taller than the others that we're going to saw through it. But that's it, we're done. We've done all 7 Holm oaks and we've done the eucalyptus hedge, and everything just looks so much neater and ready for the new season, and I think our patio is going to look wonderful. I think the structural elements are so important, and it is important to maintain them, and if they just got all scraggly and messy, it just wouldn't be so pleasing to look at. And we love sitting out here in the summer and as the weather warms up and just enjoying the structure and then all the blousy flowers beneath. Anyway, I hope you found this fun and interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.